Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So today, I'm going to go ahead and go into kind of like a guide for my character that I'm currently playing in Tree of Savior. Now, for those people who don't know, Tree of Savior is a Korean action-based MMORPG that the whole entire theme, I'm sorry, is based around grinding mobs. That is the main appeal of the game. And there's so many different ways you could go in terms of customization and whatnot. So I'm going to briefly go over it, I'll show you some combat, and then we'll talk about it later, alright? Oops. Alright, so, currently what we're running right now is Rank 1 Swordsman, Rank 1 Peltasta, Rank 1 Hoplight, we're going Rank 1 Cataphract, and then we'll be going Rank 2 Cataphract, and possibly Rank 3 Cataphract. I don't know this part yet, I kind of have to play a bit more into the game. But to just give you guys a rundown, and then we're going to go fight some mobs, and I'll come back and explain pretty much all about it. Alright, so I'm currently level 114 and I'm also full dexterity, which you can see right here. 183 dex. Strength is coming from my Vubi fighter gloves, which gives me strength and AoE attack ratio. Buffs that we're going to rotate, we're going to use Fenestra, which comes from Hoplight, which gives us 50 critical chance, which is equivalent to about 45 points in dexterity. We don't really care about the evasion loss, don't really care about the block chance. And then Gung Ho, which is from the Squire, which gives us a raw physical damage increase. Now, we've also got the ability to ride a mount. That's what this class gains. It's one of the three mountable classes in the game, and it moves very, very, very quickly. Now, the only other classes that are able to be mounted, or can mount, is a Sorceress on a boss card, and I don't even know what it's called. It's like a rank 6 archer, and it gains the ability to mount at rank 6. I think it's like a pistol, dual-wield pistol. I don't know what it is. It's something really far out there. So we're going to go ahead and grind an area. It's about 5 to 7 levels higher, just to show you guys some demonstration of my damage ratios. I'll show you guys my weapon right now. My weapon is quite insane, so expect to be doing maybe 25% less damage, assuming you're not using something of this. So let's go ahead and group them. So there's a bug where you can't always mount in combat, so we're going to try to get our mount over here. Come on, dum-dum. Okay, well, he's fainted, so we can't actually mount right now. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Come here, buddy. Where are you? Where are you? There he is. There he is. Come on. Mount. Mount. Let me mount. Let me mount. Let me mount. Oh my god. Okay, we got on. Nice. Alright. So, buffs are on. Gonna go ahead and poke. You've got insane spear range because of the class that we're playing. If you look at the buff Fenestra, Fenestra actually has an attribute which gives you bonus attack range while it's active. So you're going to be auto-attacking most mobs. But you've also got the skill Earth Wave, which actually hits numerous times. So I'm going to weapon swap, swashbuckling, taunt everything, swap back. And this archer's being a scumbag, but that's okay. Gotta love scumbag people, man. Especially them archers. What the, how did I just dismount? Like, what? Mount! Stop being dumb, man! I think he's actually taking damage and dismounting me. Now, the one benefit to this over playing like a barb or something, you're probably not going to be dealing more damage than them, by any means. However, you've got insane mobility, and you've got insane weapon range, which means on most fights, or even on most mobs, you should not ever be taking damage. Just because you can so easily bounce out of the attack range of the monsters themselves. And you've also got the ability to provoke and pull mobs pretty much off the screen entirely. It's more of like a utility class, but it still has insane damage, so let's group them up. We're going to channel up Earth Wave. The dunk is down. And we're good. It's really important to utilize weapon swapping, because weapon swapping does give you access to being able to taunt. Now, you've got another skill, which I'll show you here. You can actually pick mobs up, and you can animation cancel this. And you can see he pretty much just instantly died. And you can do that for 10 seconds. With that skill alone, I can usually put out about 25k damage in an AoE on a 50-second cooldown. Granted, most mobs I'm fighting can't live that long, so it's not really needed by any means. Also, for people wondering about overkilling, the minute you hit rank 2 Cataphract, if Earth Wave scales the way I assume it's going to scale, overkilling will be totally possible. Even right now, I can actually overkill a few types of monsters. The voodoo dolls I can actually get good overkills on. The point of overkilling is you can gain up to 255% bonus experience off a monster that is being overkilled. I don't really have any mana issues unless you're spamming, well, Impaler whenever it's up. Earthwave doesn't really cost much, auto-attacking doesn't really cost much, so you're pretty much good to go. Now, one other thing that's really important to utilize, which I haven't been doing, but there are certain mobs with knockdowns. Now, if you look at Pain Barrier temporarily grants a high resistance to being affected by knockback, knockdown, or stagger, I believe. And this is really important because when you have skills that you're channeling or you're charging up, you really do not want to be knocked down and just have all of it go to waste on the charge up. Let's pull these guys here. Very nice. And there's an example right there. And then it wasted and... Oh, actually, no, it didn't waste. It actually hit them. Cool. So right now, Earthwave hits 2 times. By the time I hit rank, my next circle in Cataphract, I do believe it's going to hit 4 times. And all the damage is combined, so it should count all for overkilling, which is very, very, very beautiful. Alright, so that's pretty much going to be it for that. Just to show you guys a few more of the other skills, we've got Poke, Stab, Stab, which is right here. It does quite a bunch of damage for single target. That's on the Hoplight skill tree. We've got Pierce, which is this one big jab. I showed you guys a little, hey, let me pick you up and do some twerking. And then we've got, yeah, that's pretty much it, everything else that we use. So I'm going to go ahead and port back to town, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the build right now. Now, remember, everything is kind of up in the air, so you can kind of customize yourself in any type of way possible. I just wanted to give you guys kind of like a rough guideline as to what I've been playing on the stream. Alright, so first off, you start off Squire or Swordsman. You don't really have a chance or choice on what you play. So I went Thrust 5, Gung Ho 5, and Pain Barrier 5. Now, you could go like Bash if you wanted for like a stun. I didn't really play around with it, so maybe it could be good. I don't really know. But you can certainly play around with this. I don't think it's really going to matter too much. Concentrate is okay. It gives you bonus damage for 10 hits. It's alright. If you like crazy spam it, you could probably get like an extra 1k damage on every skill or something, like overall. It's okay. You could drop like Pain Barrier and get Pain Barrier 1 and Concentrate 4. I think that would probably be better. It doesn't really matter too much to me. We're going to go into Peltasta. So Peltasta, we've got Umbo Blow, Rim Blow, Swashbuckling, Guardian. Now I've got 1 point in Guardian in case I ever decided to use a shield. Just like if I had to tank for like a quick zone boss or something. Swashbuckling is insane because it's your provoke and it really helps with holding threat. You do not actually need to level it, I believe, because when you actually use if you use Swashbuckling, you can see you get a buff, but the minute you swap back and lose your shield, you actually lose the buff. So you can actually drop the points in Swashbuckling and go into Guardian if you wanted to. Rim Blow is god-awful for AoE because it knocks everything back. You may be able to look at Peltasta attributes and see if you can augment that so it doesn't knock back. I'm not really too sure. Umbo Blow is a good spin. Does a nice little PB AoE spin. I can't really show you these too much because it's going to do no damage because you have to have a one-handed spear. So I don't really use these too much because these cannot be used. These require a shield. So as you can see, they're grayed out. So the only time you'd ever use it is if you're like avidly weapon swapping, which is something you do want to do in the future. But for right now, it doesn't really matter too much. And you can also go into like Shield Mastery for blocking and Swashbuckling max HP. But again, this is for like a separate tanking spec. Hoplite. This is the big one. Hoplite, you get Stabbing. Stabbing is our poke we were talking about. Your #1 single target skill is right there. That is your #1 boss killing skill. It does insane amounts of damage, especially if you're paired with like a Pyromancer or someone else who's buffing you. Any added damage effect is applied to each thrust. Piercing is one of your next big skills. It's like your second strongest single target, which comes from Hoplite, which you can see to medium type targets it hits twice, to large type targets it hits 3 times, and it's just one solid jab. No animation locking, just bam, a really strong jab. And this does have the potential to overkill because it's pierce damage. Stabbing is also pierce. Fenestra is your buff for 50 flat crit, which is really, really nice. If you want an example of how much that is, it's somewhere around probably like 10-15% crit rate. And if I were to go ahead and pull up my stats here, you can see that my critical rate is actually 183. With Fenestra on, it's 233. It's a pretty significant boost, and I'm full dexterity. Synchro thrusting, I went 1 point in because when you're leveling Hoplite, you do have a shield, and you're pretty much all auto attacks, so just having an extra skill, it did do a little bit of damage. Once you become Hoplite, you can actually start using one-handed spears, and for right now I'm stabbing the hands 10, which is 10% damage, and piercing hands for 10% damage, because I'm pretty broke because I've been dropping all of it on Earthwave. I spent like maybe 800k on Earthwave already. So then we get to Cataphract, which is pretty much when the character becomes fun. Around 79 to 81, your base level is when you can become a Cataphract, and around 126 is when you can become your next rank. So in Cataphract, you get Impaler. Impaler is the one where you can pick up a mob, and you can torque it, or you can slam it. It's pretty good. It's really mana intensive, because every time you hit, it takes the mana again. But it's really, really good damage, especially in like the dungeons, where monsters have very, very high HP. It's not too useful when mobs don't have too much HP, because if a mob dies on the skewer, then the duration ends. Earthwave is the big hitter, which is the one I showed you guys. It is this one that you channel up, and just dunk. Trot is a movement speed steroid, which is really, really beautiful, especially like if you're scouting for your party as the tank, because you've got swashbuckling, so you can actually run around and just start pulling mobs to you, and pulling them back to your group and scouting, so it's really cool. I went 1 in Steed Charge. I didn't really like it too much. I do have to play around to see if it ends up hitting multiple times. As of right now, it doesn't. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but it's a short cooldown, so I have to see. Maybe the range increases. I'm pretty curious to see exactly how it works out. Now, everything in my build is actually able to be used on a mount, with the exception of nothing. I can actually use every skill that's currently in my build on my mount, which is the way it was set up to do. So that's another really, really, really good, a good pro to it. At next C2, I get Doom Spike, which is a new skill, and then we're pumping up Earthwave, pumping up Trot, and we're going to see where the build goes. Now, in terms of attributes again, which attributes are basically points that you spend to additionally increase your damage. I've got 32 attributes in Earthwave, which increases the damage by 32%. This is really, really, really significant because Earthwave, when you pull mobs together, you want to Earthwave and just one-shot everything. If you don't one-shot, you're wasting time. So this is like your big boy damage. And then I put a little bit into Impaler because it does get really, really expensive. And we've got Spear Mastery Penetration, which I believe is only for block penetration. And then I've got Earthwave, Earth Property, which is just naturally learned for like 70k, which basically turns your Earthwave into Earth damage. I haven't found anything that's weak to Earth damage right now, but if I did, I could probably hit like 10k Earthwaves, which would be pretty sick. Now, the reasoning for going full dex, I know if people have been keeping up to date with live streams and whatnot, you'll see most swordsman builds go full dex. And here's why. So my current weapon right now is used for level 75, and this is an exaggeration because most weapons have like half the damage of this weapon, but this is why it's oh so much better to even use this as an example. So my spear at +7, alright, took a lot of money to get it here, has a 275 physical attack to 354 physical attack. That 354 physical attack is equivalent to about 320, 330 levels worth of strength. So why would you put 300 plus levels into strength, alright, when you could just put 300 levels into dexterity, gain probably like 75% chance to dodge all attacks, infinite accuracy, meaning you just don't ever miss targets, and you get to scale up the damage of the base. Well, you get to scale up the base damage of your weapon through critical strike chance now. You see where I'm going with this? Now, if you're a one-handed character and you have like a 100 top end, it's okay to go like hybrid dex and strength because you want a little bit of base damage to go. Now then there's the other con of, but strength gives physical attack, critical attack. Critical attack is critical damage. I believe it's like a 1-for-1 ratio. And that's really good, don't get me wrong. But I'd much prefer to have sustained critical strike chance than critical damage. Because if you look at your weapon, you can socket critical attack gems in your weapon, and they'll reduce your accuracy. But that doesn't matter, because with dexterity, you have insane amounts of accuracy. Whereas if you were to use a red gem, it's going to reduce your maximum attack, or your minimum attack, but increase your maximum attack. So it's kind of like an up and down thing. As for my gear right now, we are using the Vubi Fighter Gauntlets for extra strength and AoE ratio. Shaneum Greaves, which I just found off regular mobs, which are pretty cool. I'm using my my Ledeka. I've got the Crystal Bangles still from the beginning of the game. I crafted these legs, actually, because they gave 10 Spirit and 7 Magic Res. And I don't really care too much about physical defense. To me, it's more about the magical resist, because you can dodge pretty much everything that's physical, with the exception of certain boss tag spells, or boss attacks that look like spells. and archers. Archers are auto attack, like auto aim. I'm using a chest that you can actually craft from a quest line, which is 8 dex with evasion. We've got a bracelet here, which is constitution and physical attack, and a strength pendant, which is crafted later in the game as well, which is critical attack and physical attack. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any comments. Remember, I don't know too much about this game yet, but there's so much just misinformation going around with people thinking they know stuff, but they don't actually know stuff, and I prefer to just have some, even though it's pretty basic, I just want some solid information out for you guys. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, and if you guys like the video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Take care, everybody.